So good evening, and thank you. I am indeed Susan Flores, class 73, and I am privileged to introduce our keynote speaker tonight. You know, I've known her since 4th grade at USD Elementary School, so I've known her for 67 years. And over the time, even if we were not in the same classroom, I got to observe her. And what did I see? A kind, gentle-demeanored lady who loved to read, very curious, and had a skill for organization. Up to now. So anyway, she also showed her leadership acumen. She was class president all the time, and she was involved in student council activities and all of those things. But the hallmark of what I remember of her is honesty. She will call you if she thinks you need to be called, but she would do it in a very nice and kindly way. So we continued on and graduated from medical school at our beloved University of Santo Tomas. Then she did her residency at the Veterans Memorial Hospital, her fellowship in adult cardiology at the Philippine Heart Center, and then went on to the United States and continued on a fellowship in the University of Utah for non-invasive cardiology. Well, when she was there, 2 things happened. I don't know if she met him before she was in Utah, but she did meet her beloved, Arthur Jane. I won't say the last name. But anyway, he is an electrical engineer, and they're married to this day. The second thing that happened, after all that training, she came across an opportunity where she had to decide if she was going to change course from how she was already trained for. A pharmaceutical company came to her and offered her a job to do research. So she thought hard, asked her loved ones, and of course prayed over it. And she decided, if I continue on cardiology, I will help one person at a time. But if research is successful, can you imagine the millions of people who I will help, and for a very, very long time? So after that, what happened? She gave me a 22-page resume. I'm going, oh, by the way, it was back to back, and the font was like 9. And I'm going, oh, okay. But this is about her, so I'll just pick a few things that I think would get you interested in her. So first, she had the opportunity to write some more, to study more, and to get better at research. She has published, co-authored and authored 54 publications, 40 abstracts, and 17 invitations to contribute on book and manual chapters. She had the opportunity to travel and live abroad. She has been to Hong Kong, she has been to Latin America, Asia Pacific, India, Canada, and of course, the United States. In those countries, she supervised, took care of research, but mostly she was the big boss, the director of the research programs. Thirdly, her hard work did not go unnoticed. She was asked by the Office of the Governor of Utah to facilitate their ethic activities, and was also asked to be a member of the advisory committee. She was recognized by the state of Los Angeles, both the upper and the lower house, for her contributions in medicine. She was also honored by our country as a budding scientist, twice. The last one was given to her last year. And she continued on to write, to facilitate, and to give multiple lectures. So that was then. What is it now? You know, Fidela's retired. Semi. For the last 12 years. What is she doing now? Today, she still works for Intermountain Hospital, which is her home-based hospital. She consults as a strategic consultant for their organization in cardiovascular research. She works for the FDA of the Philippines. Her goal is to help them to be self-sufficient, to know exactly what they need to do, so that one day we will just not review what has been reviewed abroad, but we will be able to review medications and equipments, devices by ourselves. So, I knew there was something else, but I don't think I can remember because I'm nervous. But anyway, it is with great joy and pleasure that I give you little tidbits of a life well lived, where you take the opportunities when it comes your way, even if it frightens you because it is different and it is not what you know. But lastly, to assure you that this lady's love for God is wonderful. And I think that is her guiding light. That's why today, she is who she is. An accomplished woman who I know will never stop working. Our keynote speaker for tonight, my good friend, my classmate, and the special keynote speaker to all of you who will inspire you, Dr. Fidela, Llorca, Moreno.
Good evening, everyone, and hopefully you can hear me okay. First of all, I did not give you a demonstration of how a golden jubilarian will go up the stairs. I had to have help because 3 days ago I pulled a muscle in my left leg, and that has given me a little bit of a problem. But I want to thank Susan for that very kind introduction. And no, my resume was not that long. And it really does pay to have friends in high places, because to be introduced by Susan is high praise indeed. Susan, who is my childhood friend and classmate, Susan, who I consider is a fellow, a blue-blooded Thomasian. And I call ourselves blue-blooded because we completed our medical education, not just medical education, but elementary, high school, pre-med, and medical education at the University of Santo Tomas. So Susan and I are as blue-blooded as you can get, blue-blooded Thomasians, the two of us. So again, Susan, thank you so much for that kind introduction. And here's the part where I show you that I am indeed in my 70s, putting those glasses for reading. I very seldom write my presentations, but on this particular night, I have opted to do just that. Why? Because there are certain messages that I really would like to convey tonight, and writing it down just ensures that I do not forget. Today marks a milestone for all of us. It is a pleasure for me to join my fellow Jubilarians, colleague Thomasians, and our families, friends, and guests on this opening night of our grand reunion. I am proud to be here at this milestone. I know that you had a choice in coming here. Come and listen to the opening and the keynote that I am about to present, or not come. And so know that I am truly grateful that you all have opted to come and listen and attend the opening ceremonies and join us in the celebrations of our reunion in the next 4 days. But before I make my address, please allow me to recognize the very special guests that are with us tonight. First, a warm welcome to Father Rector Richard Ang. It is a pleasure, Father, to meet you in person at last. No? Your name and that of Father Julius Factora are very familiar names to us because to me and to my friends, we pray for you and all your endeavors every morning at our Rosary Group. Secondly, I would like to also extend a warm welcome to Dr. Lourdes Maglina. Dean Odette, I personally appreciate your presence here tonight, and I remember with gratitude how you welcomed me so graciously that first day that I came back to UST, asking to be involved in the faculty as a visiting professor. And to all our special guests, I believe Father Factora is going to be joining us soon, and Dr. Amadong will be here as well. Let me extend the welcome to them as well. And in the next 4 days, as I'm sure, like my colleagues in this room, we would like to spend some time with you over the next 4 days. And to the UST Medical Alumni Association in America, thank you for the opportunity to deliver this keynote address. Not many people, certainly not many physicians turned researchers like me, are given the opportunity to address such an esteemed group of colleagues, mentors, and university leaders. Hence, it is both an honor and a pleasure to be making this address tonight. I have chosen to speak on the topic, 150 years of unending grace. You of course recognize the last 2 words of that topic as taken from the last line of our UST hymn. So why this topic? Primarily because our Faculty of Medicine and Surgery just celebrated its sesquicentennial anniversary, marking 150 years of service, 150 years of providing medical education, and 150 years of developing and molding physicians with compassion, commitment, and competence. And those last 3 words should also be very familiar to all of us. Those last 3 words because they are our core values as Thomasian physicians. I thought it only proper, therefore, that we should all appreciate this milestone because technically speaking, we are part of that 150 years. We are, especially for the Golden Jubilarians, my colleagues and I lived through 50 of those years. And so again, technically speaking, we own 1/3 of those 150 sesquicentennial years. So tonight, in the next few minutes, I invite all of you to examine with me what we have done with our part of those sesquicentennial years and how we have left our mark in the environment where we live and where we continue to work and grow. I would like first to talk about choice, beginning with the choice we made when we decided to go to medical school. For some of us, that decision may have been an easy decision to make. But for some of us, it might not have been that easy. Difficult or easy, however, it took a lot of courage for us to make that decision to go to medical school. And it took additional courage, with determination and endurance this time, to stay in medical school, no matter how difficult it turned out to be. That firmness of purpose, that resoluteness, that drive enabled us to reach the outcome we wanted, to reach what we perceived to be success at the end of our chosen path. But then again, we found that it did not stop there. There were more decisions to make after completing our education. In planning our medical careers moving forward, decisions like go straight into practice or take more training in a subspecialty. Take subspecialty training in the Philippines or go abroad to some other country for that training. Return to the Philippines after training or stay in the institutions that trained us. Practice medicine in the city or go home to the province and practice medicine where we came from. Remain in the Philippines or find our niche under the American sun. And believe me, that last choice also took a lot of courage. We persevered, we struggled, we had our hurts, and we had our disappointments, but we overcame those challenges. We followed through and reached what we perceived as success. But that may not have been the story for every one of us. Some aspirations, some goals may have taken a different form along the way. For us, we journeyed toward the end goal and what we perceive to be success. Some of us may have experienced a detour. Some of us may have been faced with more choices to take the high road or take the path less traveled. Some of us may have been presented with options to take our aspirations beyond those of the usual expectations. It is really like taking a train to the most desired destination A and somehow ending up in destination B. That detour may have been forced on us by unavoidable circumstances. And I say forced because at that point in time, we may think that it is not the path that we wanted our careers to take, not the path that we desire. But we may get there and find that the destination B is just as gratifying as what we initially planned for our careers to be. Or that detour may not have been forced on us, but may have been a personal choice, a deliberate change in goals brought about by the realization that your passion is focused elsewhere, somewhere else, other than the usual patient care. No matter what triggered that detour, I hope that we realize that that choice also took a lot of courage to make, especially if that choice made us take the path less traveled. And I hope that we realize that no matter how or when or where or why those decisions were made, if we made it with conviction, with commitment, with competence, and with compassion for those impacted by our decision, then that is success too. Because in my view, success is not only measured by the long line of patients outside the doors of our clinics. Neither is success measured only by the number of awards and accolades that we receive. And certainly, success is not only measured by what we have in our bank accounts. Rather, success is about finding where and what your passion is and ensuring that we focus on it. It is about accepting what we are presented with and turning it into excellence. It's about recognizing our God-given talents and using that for a higher goal with commitment, with competence, and with compassion. For after all, that is what being a Thomasian is all about. Being Thomasian should be engraved in our hearts and minds, and there is no expiration date for being a Thomasian. So perhaps for us Jubilarians, this is one valuable lesson that we can leave our younger Thomasian colleagues. Like it or not, we serve as role models for our younger colleagues. Like it or not, we are all role models for the younger generations of physicians and scientists. Our lives and the mark that we leave in the environments where we thrive are all part of the legacy that we leave behind for them. So, whether you are a paper, silver, sapphire, golden, or diamond Jubilarian, or even if you are in between Jubilarian milestones, let us continue to strive. Let us continue to use and share our God-given talents, talents that were honed by the Thomasian core values and honed by the Thomasian education that we received. Let us continue to strive for excellence. And while we are here at this reunion, I hope that we take a moment to reflect on the journey that got us to this point in time. Let us express gratitude for what made us what we are today. Let us recognize those that took that journey with us, as well as those that led us in this journey. Let us remember the choices that we made. Let us renew our passion for what we do. And let us renew our commitment to using and sharing our God-given talents. To end this keynote address, allow me to thank the USTMAAA for being an organization focused not just on practicing physicians, but focused on all Thomasians. Your goal of inclusiveness is sincerely much appreciated. And finally, I would like to leave you with a quotation from one of my favorite authors. And this goes, "When I stand before God at the end of my life, I would hope that I would not have a single bit of talent left. And I could say, Lord, I used everything that you gave me." Thank you so much for your kind attention.